Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror film reviews, ratings, rankings, and rumors. Now for your hosts, Danny, Joel, and Katrina.
Yeah, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here with Katrina Christ. And we've got Judas Joel.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
I feel like you've been Judas before.
I probably
Maybe.
have been, yeah.
Man.
All good.
Now we know what Danny thinks of you.
I think the last religious one we did, I think was
Yeah,
Judas.
I think so.
It's all good.
Very original.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be talking about yet another religious horror film just came out. It is just simply The Exorcism
Yes.
with Russell Crowe. So
Yes.
let's talk about who's in this film, Joel.
Okay. Well, you just mentioned the first one, Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I feel like
Is the-
that's like the advertisement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the name of the movie.
Yeah,
The
Russell
Exorcism with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was trying to choose one I guess smaller role because I don't want to because I think we've talked about him at least once before with Unhinged.
At least.
So,
Well, and
yeah.
with the
Oh yeah,
Exorcist.
yeah. So I'm just doing stuff, not his most popular ones. So Russell Crowe in The Quick and the Dead, which is a
Okay.
Western back in the 90s. 3:10 to Yuma, another Western. That's one of my favorites. Robin Hood, and he was in Les Mis, the
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
had to mention that one.
I did.
Yep.
Only actor I think we've even had that spin in that movie that
Yeah.
we talked about. And then we got Ryan Simpkins. She's Lee, the daughter, and she was in parts 2 and 3 of the Fear Street movies. Revolutionary Road. Yeah,
She was in the Fear Street ones. Yeah.
and Revolutionary Road with Leo DiCaprio back in the mid 2000s. And Surveillance, which is what was that, late 90s 2000 movie?
It's
It's another psychological thriller.
Oh man, I can't think of it. Bill Pullman. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good movie.
Yeah.
And then we've got Sam Worthington. He's Joe, and he's going to be in Avatars 1 through 5.
Oh,
There's
okay.
gonna be 5.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know about 5. I knew about 3.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was gonna go 5 deep.
1 through 5. so
Okay.
you
You
know
already
his
got him
character's gonna live.
casted for
They've
it.
got the
Yeah.
dates and everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
the 5th one comes out in 2031. So
Mhm.
they've got
It's ridiculous.
I know. He was in Hacksaw Ridge, which is probably my favorite war movie. Terminator and Call of Duty Black Ops 1, 2, and 4. He's a voice
Oh,
in those
okay.
games. And this was written by 2 people. First one was it's just initials M.A. Fortin. I don't know what the M and A stand for, but it's just M.A. Fortin.
Okay.
And he did, or she, I don't know what the M stands for, 62 episodes of Queen of the South, The Final Girls, which is it's like a horror comedy in the mid 2010-ish. A short called Dawn the short, and upcoming horror movie called Sleepwalk. So it's still in pre-production, so that's really all that we know is the title. And then we've got Joshua John Miller, who is also the director of this movie. And he did Queen of the South, 62 episodes, The Final Girls, Dawn short, and The Mao Game, M-A-O, The Mao Game, which is also one novel that he wrote. And the only other movie he directed was The Mao Game in 1999. So.
Oh wow, that was a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. First movie since 1999. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So a troubled actor begins to exhibit a disruptive behavior while shooting a horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addictions or if there's something more sinister at play.
Oh man.
Okay.
That's what it is. All right. So this movie came out just a few days ago.
Yep.
So hasn't been a lot of time for reviews, but let's see what the critics and the audience is saying.
Yeah. So far, it's looking a little rotten.
Hasn't even been out for that long. That's already rotten.
It's already rotten. Yeah. So you've only got 72 reviews. So given that, it's at 31% on the tomato meter.
It's pretty low.
That's very low.
And then the audience score, not too much higher, with a 39%.
Okay.
And then if you thought that IMDb might save it,
No.
not so much. You got a 4.5.
There's at least more people that voted on IMDb though. There's when I saw, because I have to see IMDb for my part in it.
Yeah.
There was over 1,000 votes.
Yeah,
so.
you've got 1,123
Okay.
for that. And
More than the 73. So.
yeah, so and the audience score, it just says 50 plus, so on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Which with with 1,000, it's still at 4.5, so it didn't go up much.
Yeah.
I mean, just having Russell Crowe alone, it's a 50 plus for me already. So I like Russell Crowe.
Okay.
I think that was what I was most excited about was Russell Crowe in this, and like I was worried about it being another, like a totally different Exorcist movie or Exorcism movie after we just had Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Because he killed that. Like he did so fun to see him in that role, but he had like such a specific personality in that role where he added humor and he added just like this unlikely type priest.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, so how is he going to play in this role? And are they just going to try to do the same type of thing, or is it going to be totally different and then throw it off, So
yeah,
it's hard because he has such a look and he has such a voice that it's hard to separate him from his roles sometimes because he is so Russell Crowe.
Yeah. And he's had his fair amount of like off-screen kind of like not cancellation moments, but he's had some rough moments off camera. And so I feel like this character, more than his Pope's Exorcist character, really fit Russell Crowe a lot more as the actor. Because he had, he's a washed up actor in this movie, and he's trying to find his way back in. And I mean, he hasn't really had that issue in real life, but he's had some moments in the past that he's had some like, fist fight moments, and just like he's
become
kind of a rough guy. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of paralleled because that actor in the film is trying to get back and doing an exorcism movie.
Yeah.
We got Russell Crowe doing exorcism movies.
Yeah.
He's not like you said, he's not a washed up actor at this point. He's like a selling point for a movie like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't make those connections. That's pretty cool. I was the same with this coming out with Pope's Exorcist last year. I was like, okay, I don't think we're gonna top that. And and it was kind of just a weird marketing for this and release.
I didn't even know. Like you were the one that reminded me that this movie was coming out. You're like, did you check to see if Exorcism was coming out? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was already coming out like this early.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be in a movie this year, but I had no
Yeah.
idea when this thing was coming out. Like, what?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's out. Like that's
Yeah.
right.
The trailers were like back and forth. Like there were trailers a lot like early in the year.
Mhm.
And then usually it's like you see a few trailers at the beginning of the year, and then like when it's getting close, you'll start seeing those trailers more and more.
Mhm.
This one, the trailers never picked up.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really see a lot about it.
Yeah. Not like A Quiet Place day one. I mean,
Yeah.
that one's being marketed to death right now. So there is no doubt when that one comes out.
Well,
but
they
this
also-
one just kind of had, trailer here and there, and it was like, okay, it's out. Like,
Yeah.
no hype,
It also,
nothing.
I know, yeah, it also costs like quite a bit of money to advertise movies. So some movies kind of need as much money as they could possibly get. Russell Crowe probably wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
He was probably like, because he is the main selling point of the movie, he was probably, several $1 million alone. So I don't know what their budget was for this movie. I don't know how much it's going to make. Based on the reviews, I don't think it's going to make much. Which is really disappointing because it's really not as bad as the critics are saying it is, to me at least.
Yeah.
I feel like it just is coming out at a point where we're already getting tired of Exorcism movies. Like this is the third one in just a couple months. Like let's separate them a little bit.
And that's the thing. There's been so many that now the bar is held really high.
Yeah, you gotta be original. You gotta bring something different and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just gonna fall in the mix. Just
Which
like the other ones.
I mean, well, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but the actual exorcism in this movie it's one hell of an exorcism. One that's I haven't really seen done before in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, and I think even the storyline of this movie is original. I think it with it being kind of what is that called? Like
meta.
I was gonna say metro. But like with it being that like meta like movie inside a movie or whatever, it had good potential with that. It had an original storyline. It had that that uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just fell short with how it presented it.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of what I've been reading about it. It's like a good idea, good premise, good, good setup, all that, but execution was kind of lacking.
Yeah.
And I would agree. I would say this movie could have gone a lot further, could have been a lot scarier. I felt like Russell Crowe was pretty good as, he could be kind of scary at times.
Yeah.
And the content is interesting. The fact that they're filming a horror film, an exorcism horror film, and then, kind of like the, rumors and truths about The Exorcist when they were filming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. All those movies. And how there are these stories on the set and, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost like was paying homage to that.
Yeah.
Too. And it was even mentioned.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was straight up mentioned The Exorcist and The Omen was also. And
And I appreciate that it was mentioned because like it was, we all kind of knew like that's what it was kind of paying homage to. And I think that's kind of fun and meta in itself.
Right. They're mentioning movies that we know.
Yeah.
In this movie. And so it's kind of a cool little piece to the film.
Mm-hmm.
So as always, we're not going to be doing spoilers. Patreon is where you can get all the spoilers on this, and all movies that we do since the beginning of this year. So I do feel like there were some like extra meanings to this movie. You know, dealing with some like real world issues and how, you know, we'll discuss it further in the spoilers because it kind of gives away a good amount of, you know, what this movie has going for it. So, but there is some of that, which I appreciate. So I would say that was my favorite part of the movie, that I was able to kind of connect it to something else beyond a possession exorcism movie. So it has something more to say, I think. So, but yeah, as far as negatives, on the surface, it's kind of basic.
Well,
you know?
I think my biggest negative is the structure was off. Like, I felt like it was choppy, and it was like they would get to horror and then they would just like end it. It was like you would have this like great horror scene, and then it was like, okay, now we're done. Like, and we're just like in this other storyline now. And it's like, stay in it a little bit. Like, this is an exorcism movie. We're coming to see the horror. Like, stay there for a little bit.
Well, and I was wondering, like, where's the R rating for this? I think there might have been a little bit of language, like not that much. And then there is one kill, I guess, in the film. That was pretty cool.
I mean, there's a couple kills, but
one that would deserve an R rating, I guess. That would, you know. And when that happened, I was like, okay, I guess this is where the R rating is coming from, because language, like, I mean, unless you're like really getting vulgar, like you can take out some F-bombs and it's PG-13. Like, you know, that like that kind of language where it's just like kind of casually said. That's like, okay, it's like, are you shooting for an R rating? Is that why you just threw those in there? Because you probably shouldn't have, because you're losing a good portion of an audience if you're doing that. So I don't know. I didn't feel like this really was a hard R type of
not a hard R. No, not at all.
Yeah.
It was like
but if it was PG-15, if they did go harder with, you know, the horror, then I would have liked it a lot more. Like, when I say it's basic, I mean with the horror aspect. The story is really cool, but the horror part of it is pretty basic, like we've seen in all these other films, and it could have been so much better.
Yeah, it definitely could have been, and that's another thing for me too, is the horror part of it, or parts of it, are few and far between. There were, you know, the, like, I guess, sleepwalking moments or whatever, like during the movie that got a little creepy, but you know, that's for the most part that was about it. And then it just like cut to the next day and we're shooting again. Like, it just it's
like, are we gonna talk about this, or like is there gonna be any follow-up or
and I really do want to talk about the actual exorcism scene in our spoilers section, because that was like pretty cool scene, but it was a cool scene that shouldn't have happened. I was just say that in the first place. All right. So I want to elaborate on that one a little bit more.
I'm excited to hear.
But or at least it could happen in a different way. But I liked his the acting was really good in this movie, I thought. There was really no tension. Well, there was not a whole lot of tension. There was some, but not a whole lot. And yeah, I mean, if this was our first Exorcism movie of the year, I'd probably give it a higher grade than I'm going to give it. But we had First Omen, which I thought was really good this year.
Well, technically, those
and then
aren't.
we had Immaculate, which was also better than this one
Yeah,
as well.
but those are not exorcism movies.
Well, they're in the same vein of this.
They're the Catholic horror
Possession.
films.
Yeah,
Horror.
yeah.
They're not possession either.
Not possession.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's in the same scope of what this movie was. Yeah, there were no actual exorcisms in those movies.
Yeah.
But they're similar.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Or at least push this one back. I mean, no one knew it was coming out anyway. You could have pushed it out back a couple more months. At least had a little bit of a break in between these types of movies.
Yeah.
Unless there's another one that we're not thinking of that's going to come out in a couple months again.
Oh, I'm sure there will be some. With just maybe not big ones, but they will be coming out straight to Tubi or something.
Yeah. Tubi original.
Yeah. Hey, those are coming out, man. Tubi originals.
Yeah.
A thing now.
But yeah, I still didn't think it was as bad as the reviews are saying it is. They're a little hard on the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say in the 30s.
Yeah, I'm in the 40s for me. Oh,
Katrina's thinking about it. She's thinking about those 30 numbers.
Like I said, Russell Crowe alone gives it at least a 50.
Okay.
And then from there I work my way up. But yeah, so I didn't hate it. It's not the worst movie that we've seen this year.
No,
not by a long shot. There's those movies, and then there's this one. It's much higher, and then there's the good ones that are.
What's interesting, I'll be really interested to see at the end of the year. We typically do our worst of the year and the best of the year. If we're coming up with 10 worst of the year,
you should do 5.
Yeah, I guess if we do 5, then I think this one might miss the cutoff. Yeah. But if we did 10, I don't know. This one might make the list as far as how the year has gone so far. So, but we're only halfway through. Got plenty more to.
We got a whole summer of
and Halloween time.
Well, I'm just saying this summer is going to be crazy with horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a summer quite like this before.
Yeah.
That we've got. But then of course we've got September, October.
Yeah.
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 So
all right, let's rate it. Joel, you're the big fan.
Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, I love this movie.
I don't think I'm gonna be too far off from your score, but we'll see.
This is a pretty basic exorcism movie, pretty basic movie, horror movie of the year so far. I'm going to give this a 77.
All right.
It's
fair.
Okay.
It's
all right. Since I think I'm going to be closer to Joel than you, I'll go next.
Okay.
And we can work our way down.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going 77. I'm going to go 74.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go 74.
Man.
I liked the deeper meanings in the film.
Yeah.
I like Russell Crowe. I like the idea and the concept and the setup.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to include all those positives, and it puts it in the okay range to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of forgettable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So
drum roll.
here's the thing. So I'm taking into consideration all those things as well. But for me, they affect my score in a different way. Because I thought this was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
It had such potential. It had Russell Crowe in it.
Mm-hmm.
And for a Russell Crowe movie, with a great idea with like I like that whole meta stuff and everything, and I love the whole idea of taking this thing that we've all talked about, like it's well known that there have been stories of what happened on the scenes of these movies, and taking that and making a movie of it. You have such high potential with that. And the writing, I felt like, was just so poor. It was obnoxious. It was poor. It was unbelievable. And it had such potential. It had such, you were just so there. You didn't have to do that much to get there. And instead you failed it. Like you ruined it.
So having the high potential and not being able to meet or match it at all, is what's gonna make it a score even worse.
But did you stay awake throughout the whole movie?
I did stay awake.
Oh, well, that's
so it's better than the Watchers.
That should raise the score.
But the movie ended, and I'm just like, really? That's it. Okay.
It is a tight hour and a half. It's not a long movie at all.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It could have been longer, actually, honestly.
And
probably
and if they had made it longer, maybe they would have had better structure and had I feel like it wasn't planned out. Like they had good ideas of how to film it. Like I liked the whole day one of filming, and it showed that. But I'm like, they just did not execute it. They did not execute it. The directing wasn't good. The writing was poor.
So I think there's
I liked one, maybe two actors because I love Russell Crowe, and then you got Eddie from Friends in there,
Yeah.
Niles
from Frasier is also.
And Niles from Frasier. But watching him creeped me out because
he did a good job. I thought
he did a good job, but he looks so different. It was weird. But yeah, so the acting was fine. The girls annoyed me, annoyed the heck out of me. So anyway, my score, is I don't know. I was trying to do the
doing a joke.
I was trying to do the drum roll.
That's the drum roll. It's not.
Yeah.
My score bumps. That's no.
Whatever. Is 42.
42?
Wow.
42%.
All right.
Wow.
All right. So I do want to say, talking about all the structure and the flow and everything and the writing, what they brought to the screen may have, I feel like it was messed with a lot because this was filmed back in 2019.
Yeah.
At least the majority of the film. And then there was COVID. And then they went back in, I believe, 2022 or 2023 and actually finished it.
Sorry.
And then finished the production and post-production and all that at the beginning of this year, and then finally released it. So there was so much time in between the filming for the majority and the post-production and release that there was probably a lot of tinkering going on during these few years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's just like Halloween Ends. We were talking about that when we reviewed it.
It was supposed to be a completely different movie.
That sometimes the artists can get too in their head and try to put something out there that they envisioned that just doesn't go on screen.
Yeah,
or they envisioned something in the beginning, and then because it's taken years, your vision changes, and so
and it's so unfortunate because any artist has the struggle of doing something like that, right? When you make an art piece and you look at it too much, then you end up messing it up too much. You mess with it too much, and then it's just completely different and not at all meeting where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And if you just leave it at that first take,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was beauty.
that's why they have drafts. That's why they have like first, second, third drafts of stuff, because they're not happy with what.
Yeah.
So because so much time has gone by, this was more of another draft that they did, and so they're. But this movie was almost done when COVID happened. So
yeah,
it's not like
who
they're gonna
knows?
restart the story again. And
well,
retell a
but
different one.
the majority of it was filmed, but as far as the structure and stuff, like who knows how much was cut? Who knows how much was edited and like pieced together
and moved
everything.
around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't just shoot, front to back, start to finish.
No, yeah.
So I wonder how much of that played a role.
Yeah.
In just kind of the quality that we ended up getting. But yeah, I was kind of thinking when you guys were talking about that, like it's like taking a test too. Like you go through, you answer. If you have too much time left at the end, you go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
You second guess yourself.
You're gonna change your answers, and then you're gonna get them wrong.
And then you get it. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like that. Like just
Your
with what you
gut
have.
Reactions are usually correct.
Yeah.
And you go back, and you have years to put it out, and but who knows, we could just be making that up. That might
this may not even have been this could have been something completely different, and this could have been their vision all along.
All right, well, we're gonna get into spoilers.
Yes. This has been scary.
All right, we need to.
It's been a little scary.
Just a little bit.
A little disappointing.
Coming over to Patreon and talk about the spoilers with us, or not talk with us, but listen to the spoilers.
Hear us talk
if
about
you agree. Yeah.
All right.
Got comment sections. You can put them in there. But.
Oh yeah, we want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, we want to hear your opinion. We want you to like and subscribe and comment. Let us know what you thought about this movie. If you agree with us, if you don't, you loved it, you hated it. If you whatever.
Apparently, the reviewers are more on Katrina's side than mine and Danny's. So that's
yeah. All right,
I know what I'm talking about.
Patreon.com/scaretalk. Go
there.
See ya.